everything is hotting up on the takeover side of things, not quite on the signing side of things, but we'll get to that later. Welcome back to West Ham Official. I hope you are all well. Today I'm joined by YouTube Royal Seed. No, it's that way. It's that way, isn't it? Firstly, Gio, how are you?
I'm good, thank you, Jake. How are you doing yourself?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. And Luke from the Free Hammers as well. Luke, how are you?
I'm good, mate. I was looking for Nikki from West Ham Fan TV when you said royalty, but I suppose you'd take us two princes, I suppose.
Yeah. So the news in the last few days, and it's really sparked up from what Tom Skinner said on Twitter in the last hour that he spoke to people at PAI Capital, or however you say it, and they have tabled a £500 million bid for West Ham United. The pressure is now on Sullivan. Gio, to you first. It's all hotting up and the pressure's on.
Yeah, definitely going to put the pressure on Sullivan a little bit. And the funny thing is, I think it's his own doing. Obviously, the rumours came out last week in the newspaper about the rumoured bid. And that's all it was a week ago. It was a rumour. People really didn't know what to believe. Some believed there was a bid, some believed there wasn't. But no one knew for sure. And because Sullivan opened his beak and sort of dismissed it and said there wasn't such a bid, it's sort of forced the hand of this group to come out and say, actually, there was a bid. So now the pressure's back on David Sullivan a little bit. And we've seen Sullivan over the last decade, he can't keep his mouth shut. I'm surprised. I've been expecting Sullivan to appear in TalkSport today, and I'm surprised he hasn't.
Yeah.
But I'm not convinced we will not hear from David Sullivan before the weekend. At some point, somewhere, he will pop up and say something, because he just can't leave things alone a little bit. He's his own worst enemy to some extent. If I was close to Sullivan right now, I'd be saying just sit down and shut up and just hope it goes away a little bit. But I don't think he will, because I'm sure people have told him that in the past and he's refused to listen to them. I mean, this was the man that was on TalkSport 12 months ago telling the world we had £40 million to spend on a centre-back from Burnley. So when he's under attack, which he sort of is to some extent now, he's sort of under attack a little bit through the media. I've got a feeling he's going to retaliate in some form.
Yeah, something, Luke. Something with this. He's gonna just poke his beak in somewhere. He's gonna say something. Something's gonna happen, and you just don't know when or where it's gonna be. Your thoughts on the whole situation, Luke?
Yeah, like what Gio said, I'm surprised some of the puppets haven't started yet. The Claret and Hughes, allegedly puppets, and Jim White. I'm surprised he hasn't called Jim White up this morning and gone, look, I need to get my point across, get the propaganda out there, that the bid's not that high and all this stuff. There's a lot of pressure on now, though. And the fact that we're back in there as well this season, it only takes a couple of bad results and it could really, really turn toxic in now. Yeah. I think we should still protest no matter what. Listen, it's not against the team. It's against the board. It's time for change. 11 years. I did quote Gio and Gonzo on my show just a minute ago, actually, saying that it is hard. I don't want just any owner, but I think he's getting to that point where a lot of West Ham fans would just take anything rather than GSP at the moment. But again, yeah. I'm still cautious. I'm still very, very cautious with it.
Yeah, in the last couple of days, there's definitely been the GSP out has definitely, Gio. People have started to get up and start shouting it again. Not that we haven't stopped shouting it, but as in it's really, really coming on now, and something's going to happen in the next few days, and we'll just have to wait and see what it is.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's quieting down quite a bit over the last 18 months, really, because of COVID. Fans not going to games and the good results. I know it's not a good thing, and protesting and results should never go hand in hand together. It should be regardless of results and stuff. And to be fair, a lot of fans have done that regardless of the results. But because the football was so good last season, it was a difficult situation for everybody. I think a lot of fans sort of put it on the back burner a little bit and thought, you know what, I'm just going to focus on myself, focus on my family, worry about my job, and enjoy the football while it's on the telly kind of thing, because there's not much I can do. I'm not going to be able to protest in my sitting room. Me sitting on my sofa singing, where's the money, isn't really going to do much kind of thing. But now the fans are going back. We're back next Saturday. It's only a friendly, but there's still thousands of people go back to the London Stadium for the first time. We're going to have big numbers there. Then in 3 weeks, we're playing Leicester on the Monday night and stuff. It'll be interesting. This whole thing, Usually it's down to the fan base to generate the PR, to generate the movement, the support, to rally up the fans. If you like, it's usually down to the fans to do that. And Hammers United have done that in the last couple of seasons for the protest. They've got the fan base together and stuff. But actually, for the first time, I feel it's been done for the fans, if you like. I feel that this statement last night by Philip Beard has almost gathered the fans together again. And Hammers United or whoever it is at protest, they've got a bit of a tap in here, actually, because I think Philip Beard's statements actually rustled the fan base up a little bit and gave them the momentum they need. And any protests that off the back of this, they do well to sort of capitalise on the momentum that's just been created in the last 24 hours.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, Luke, it's almost in a way came at the right time because, as Gio said, we are getting fans back in Brentford, and of course the Premier League season starts again in a couple of weeks' time. Almost to get back out there again, not just sat on our sofa, to get back out there again, and put the pressure on as always.
I'll tell you what is going to be interesting, that Newcastle game. It's going to be like two fans who can scream louder about who wants their ball out. I'm big friends with a Newcastle fan, and he said the only advice I give to the West Ham fans is we get this every year. We get takeover talk. We don't buy any players. It gets to like 2 weeks before, nothing happens, and then the takeover talk drowns out the fact that we've not signed any decent players. So it's good to hear from a Newcastle fan because they're probably the closest we've got in terms of comparison, But yeah, we just need to protest as much as we can to try and get them out now. But we were close. Before COVID hit, we were very close, I think, to pushing them out. And they had a year respite. And, I fell back in love with the club last year in terms of football and enjoyed West Ham again. But there's still that demon that sits above that playing team and that squad, etc. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Before we dive into the comments, let's set a like target. There is 32 people watching. Let's get 25 likes. We're currently on 9. Let's get up to 25 likes. Right, let's have a look who's in the chat then. James for GSB need to go. Andy Mars, I hope you're well. Andy Walsh as well. Kenson, hope you're well, Kent. Andy Walsh says we need PIA or PAI, as he says, corrected himself there. To say more and go Sullivan out indeed. James says sold a dream, Harrod's dream on a Poundland budget, pretty much. It's GSB to a T. Protest is key. See, you've even rhymes that as well. Look, James. See, let's have a look down here. James says, I keep hearing, be careful what we wish for. We getting what we wish for, and that is nothing. And he says rivals are improving the squads. We are getting rid. Let's have a look. Let's go down here. Kent says we've got 900 fans going to Brentford on Saturday, so that should be good. I'm sure they'll make some noise about this as well. And yeah, I mean, I think James said it in your stream yesterday, Gio. Is the only thing that's going to keep Sullivan firmly in his chair is because of the deal he's got with the stadium until 2023, isn't it? Like the some sort of lease until 2023. Do you think that's going to keep him firm?
No, it's not as much as some people think. I was going to look into it. I probably should have done it since last night's video, but I think the first 200 million doesn't get affected. Essentially, say you sold the club for 400 million. The first 200 million, there's no percentage come off that. That is to Sullivan and Gold, and then the debt that's due to them goes back to them, which is quite a lot at the minute. So it's at least 50 million they're due, and then they're also due interest payments as well. So they're due quite a lot. So all that goes back to them as well, away from the government and stuff. So there is, I think it's 10% for some reason, but I think that would be on 200 million. So say you sold it for 400 million, it's 20 million. I know it's a lot of money, but it's not that much money. When you're spending that much, when you're getting that much money, kind of thing, is still not that much money. So yes, it's a lot of money to me, you, and Luke, but to them, it's sort of like, I think it's something they could probably take on the chin a little bit if it meant getting the right price, but I would almost guarantee they factored this in the asking price. And I think maybe this is part of the problem where Philip Beard said, we've gave them the asking price, but they don't want it. Perhaps Sullivan and Gold is turning around and saying, well, we want this much money, but if we get that, we've got to give X percent to the government. So we're going to want that on top of what we want. Do you know what I mean? So they want 500 million. Once they pay the government, there's 500 million there for them, kind of thing. I don't know. I'm just guessing. But I don't think it's too big an issue as what some imply anymore. 5 years ago it was, because it was like 30% or something. But every year it comes down a few percentage, and it's got to the point now where I think it's like 10%. It's not that much.
Yeah. What's coming out of PAI, Luke, is positive. Although everything that comes out of every new owner, who tries and joins a club is positive. But he's going to try and buy the stadium, I think. So we're not renting a stadium, which adds money onto the adds money onto the value of the club. I mean, I think Sullivan's valued the club at £600 million, which is completely wrong. I think we all know, but it's looking positive from the person at PAI Capital, and good things are coming from it.
I hope so, mate. I hope there's something in this. Like I say, a lot of people are jumping on the QPR thing as well. That Philip Beard was behind the QPR stuff with Tony Fernandez. I think Tony Fernandez's heart was in the right place. I'm going to defend him. I think he was trying to buy some decent players. Loic Remy was a fantastic player for them. And I think he got a bit excited with money, a bit like Eggman, what I just said on my show. Eggman got very excited at West Ham. He bought Lundberg, he bought this one, that one. And I think that's all it was, that they were just guilty of getting a bit excited and just didn't buy the right players. I think hopefully someone like this Philip Beard has learned from that experience and knows, you need to build a good scouting network. You need to build these football teams work differently now. They need a big structure, loads of delegation and stuff like that. So hopefully he's learned from it. And I think there could be some positives in terms of West Ham's structure if he was to come in, because he would have learned from those mistakes.
Yeah. Questions coming from James, both you. Gio, to you first. Newcastle are worth 350 million. What's West Ham worth in your opinion?
I don't know. I have no idea how you value a football club. I just talk about it rather than I don't like this sort of stuff that you got to put your neck on the line. I don't know. I think to hear earlier today, sort of through Tom Skinner, if you like, to say that the bid was 500 million. Seems fair to me, in all honesty. I'd be surprised if it went for more than that. But I do think there is a sort of a sex appeal to being based in London. I do think that does carry some weight and stuff. So I do think we would be worth more than Newcastle, purely because of the city. But how much more? I don't know. I don't know how you value these things, Jake.
Yeah. Luke.
Yeah, very similar to Gio. I would say around that sort of 450 mark because of the sexy London tax, we'll call it that. London's property is just massive. The fact that it's in Stratford, you're next to the Westfields and stuff like that. So these businesses can set up their own businesses in Westfield, new restaurants, flats, rent, etc. There's so much investment opportunities for big business. So that is where that price gets bumped up for me.
Yeah, I agree. Ian says, American billionaire Joseph DeGrosser has been linked, but is he willing to pay Sullivan's £600 million price tag? I think we've already seen PAI have put £500 million on the table. It's just the position David Sullivan's in now. You just don't know what David Sullivan's going to do, Gio, do you? One day he could say he could come out, as you said, on TalkSport and say, no, this is false, blah, 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 blah. And they could come out and go, yeah, I'm fed up of it all and leave, and, we'll all have a party. But we just don't know. There's just no idea.
No, it's difficult to gauge because whether we agree or not with him is another thing entirely. David Sullivan probably thinks he's done a really good job as West Ham chairman. David Sullivan probably thinks I've got them. Yes, I got them down, but I got them straight back up. I've got them established in the Premier League. We've just gone into Europa League football. This is what we said. We said we'd get you to European football. We've got you to European football. So Sullivan, he looks at his recent transfer purchases: Soucek, Ben Rama, Sufal, Bowen. Now there's rumours today that Liverpool have bid or will bid 30 million for Jared Bowen. Now to that for David Sullivan, that's almost justification. as someone that gets hands-on with transfer, he's going, well, I've got this guy for 20 million. He's now getting bid 30 from Liverpool. I can do this. I am good at this job. And I think Sullivan probably thinks he's a good chairman. He's probably looking at this PAI capital and thinking, I can do a better job than you as West Ham chairman. David Gould's obviously sitting thinking, I'm a West Ham fan. I know better than you, PAI capital. Like I said, you two, we don't have to agree with these. This is just my guess. My guess is that they think they're doing a good job, because whenever Sullivan does go and talk sport stuff, he genuinely comes across baffled as to why West Ham fans are unhappy. He's genuinely confused as to why West Ham fans are protesting. They don't understand. Now, that's for a wide range of reasons. But so when you're talking about will Sullivan sell up, money talks at the end of the day. If someone, it's one of those things, when people say, Jake, you might like your t-shirt you're wearing. You might say, I will never sell this t-shirt. And if Luke turned around to you and said, I'll give you £500 for it, you'd probably say, actually, yeah, okay, you can have this t-shirt now. So we've agreed you'll sell your t-shirt. It's all about the price. And that's the same for any football club. Roman Abramovich would maybe even sell Chelsea eventually. If someone come along and offered stupid money, he would sell Chelsea. He would just go buy another football club with the money. Everything in the world has its price, Jake. So at some point, Sullivan will go. I just don't think he's in much of a hurry, to be honest with you.
No, he will crack at some point. 45 people watching. Our like target today is 25 likes. We are 4 off. Please hit that like button to get our target of 25 likes for today's video. Luke, I mean, we just don't know, because we've seen with the likes of Dean Garner, when David Sullivan sees offers come in, money, his eyes light up. Do you think his eyes are lighting up currently when he's seeing papers coming through for £500 million for West Ham? Do you think he's thinking, actually, this is all right? My eyes are lighting up like they are when someone comes in with a big money deal for whichever player.
But 500 million is a hell of a lot of money, even for someone like him. You'd like to think that his eyes are lighting up. It depends how much he values them porter cabins, really. Like, is he rating them at like £50 million or something, made of gold porter cabins? Yeah, I don't know where some of these figures are coming in from. I know I said 450 million, but if you looked at our training ground, is that worth a lot of money? I don't know how much that land's worth. But yeah, I would say 500 million may tickle his box. I think he might go, actually, yeah, I don't mind that figure. That's a nice figure, that 500 million.
Yeah. And 2 questions left. So firstly to you, Jude, do you believe it will happen?
I'm not sure, Jake. I'm not sure. Like I said, I don't think Sullivan's in too much of a rush. I think if you ask Sullivan on his own what his ideal scenario is for the ownership of West Ham, I wouldn't be surprised if he said someone to buy out David Gould and the rest of them with loads of money and chuck loads of money in the club, and he still owns the 51% he currently owns, kind of thing. But I don't know. It's difficult to tell, isn't it? It's the same with this PAI capital. Just how serious are they, kind of thing? Because if they have bid 500 million, you'd have to, for them to go above and beyond that to buy West Ham, and all of a sudden it's getting a bit pricey for them. It's getting a little bit unrealistic and a little bit silly money, kind of thing. Like your t-shirt analogy, Luke might really like it. He might be willing to pay 50 quid, but that might be his top price. I don't know if he'd pay 60, 70 pounds. Suddenly it's getting a little bit expensive for what it is. I think we're almost in that territory a little bit for the value of West Ham. So I don't like sitting on the fence, really, Jake. But on this one, I really don't know. But I think it's hindered because I don't know a lot about PAI Capital. I've never heard of them until yesterday, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Luke, the same question to you. Do you believe it will happen?
I'd like to think it will, but I'm going to quote Gio's good friend Gonzo, who usually says these sort of things happen very, very quietly. It's done and you don't really hear nothing about it. And then a few days later, it's done. I think it's a little bit too loud for it to happen now. I think these boys might have something to play in the future, but I don't think it's going to happen this year. I think within the next year and a half, though, we will have new ownership in the next year and a half, but not now, not right now. I don't think it's going to happen right now.
Yeah, and final question. So the scenario is that PAI Capital now own West Ham, and you've got one thing that you've got to tell the owner of West Ham. What would you tell him to do? Gio, to you first. What would you tell him to do?
That's a great question.
Be honest. I think too often we feel the current board, at the very best, giving them the benefit of the doubt here, mislead you. They very much mislead you. And we've heard David Gold's, what was that stupid phrase he used? Failed promises or ambitious promises or something stupid. He come out with some phrase to almost play to be a victim of over promising or something. It wasn't. You just got caught out lying. And I think actually, if you're just honest with the fans, there's not much we can use. Basically, every time you lie, you give the fans a bullet for the gun. So we load it up. You tell another lie, we load it up again. And eventually, someone turns the gun around and starts firing bullets at you. And it's the stuff that you've given us. We're just firing your own stuff back. Actually, I think if you're just honest with the fan base, keep expectations realistic, and I think we can buy into that a little bit. You know, one reason, I know me and Luke love Mark Noble. One of the reasons that we do is because he's honest. How often do you hear Mark Noble say, I can't play football. I can't do this much football. I'm too old. And people turn around and go, fair enough. He's right. You know, and when you say Mark Noble's struggling, well, yeah, he's told us he's struggling. He knows he's struggling. And I think honesty just goes a long, long way with people, not just football fans and West Ham fans, just with people in general. I think if you're honest and realistic, I think you get a lot of respect for it, but you just maintain expectations a little bit.
Yeah. Just before I come to you, Luke, I'm just going to take some comments. Smeagol 316. Gold and Sullivan have no ambition. We have no proper scouting system, and our training and facilities are very poor. James says, is 500 million a lot when he can earn that just staying in the league for the next 3 to 5 years? Good point. Good point. Nigel says David Sullivan won't sell to them, but there's more to this than meets the eye. And he also says people need to remember West Ham's money and the Dave's money. People need to remember West Ham's money is the Dave's money, totally separate. And people answering that question. But just before Kent says, I'll believe a takeover will happen when it happens. The West Ham soap opera, indeed. James is saying 2023, that's when it happens. And he says put East on the badge instead of London. And what's your answer then, Luke? If you could tell the new West Ham owner one thing, if he becomes the new West Ham owner, what would you tell him to do?
I'm glad Gio answered it first. It lets me expand a little bit. So on honesty, I would say professionalism as well. None of your board have a Sun article. None of them are on Twitter with their sons tweeting out transfer rumours. No info is spread down to other West Ham websites and used as a propaganda tool. And just be a bit more professional. Like good owners stay out of the media. When do you ever hear the Leicester owner getting interviewed? When do you hear Roman ever get interviewed? You know, just back off a little bit. Like just do your stuff and let the manager answer the questions. Let the players do the talking. Just some professionalism would be nice for me. And a little bit of trust in a manager as well. You know, just trust what a manager wants to do and believe in a project, have an actual plan and deliver it.
Yeah. I'm surprised no one said A, I think the obvious option is sign some players, and B, upgrade the training facilities as well. I mean that's some obvious answers to that as well. Right, just to finish off, putting that to the side, but before we do, how many likes are we away? Come on, we're 2 away, 52 people watching, we're on 23 likes, 2 more likes for the like target of 25. I mean, I'm going to put this up. Nothing's going on. Quickly, it is the transfer window, but nothing's happening. Nothing at all is happening. And Luke's expressions sum it up. Absolutely sum it up. Gio, there you go. Sum our transfer window up so far in one word.
Slow.
Luke, sum up in one word.
Frustrating. There we go.
Yeah, right. Peach, the Peach has spoken. What's he said? New owners, put your money where your mouth is. A lot of 100%. Peach has spoken. Anyway, thank you very much to everybody in the chat. And as always, thank you for 28 likes. There we go. We've hit the like target. There we go. Thank you very much. Gio and Luke, thank you very much for coming on.
Pleasure.
No worries, mate. Appreciate it, mate.
Thank you very much. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. Helps the channel out. Come on, you irons. And we'll see you very, very soon. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.
Cheers, mate. Take care.